Wholeness, beautiful beings, welcome to my channel. My name is Rashida Silvertree, and today's topic is about choice. Why we underestimate the power of choice. In a previous video, I mentioned that reality, our reality that we believe in, is by design. Nature is by design. Everything is designed for us. Everything is almost like we're like puppets in a play. Shakespeare said it best: all the world's a stage and men and women are merely players in it. And that's the truth, right? I often find that I'm already destined to be and to do the things that I'm already doing. I felt the calling for music at a very young age. I felt the calling to get into medicine at a very young age, and art. Mainly I was exposed to the art world very, very young. But I always wanted to heal. I wanted to heal others, and I wanted to engage in the world in a very creative way. So I say this to put a little bit more emphasis on the power of choice. Sometimes we get so locked into the design and into the roles that we play, whether you're a parent, mother, father, lover, friend, whether you're homeless, you're career driven, you're an artist, you're a business entrepreneur, you're a healer, scientist, teacher, on, and so on. We often forget that we have the power to choose. We underestimate the power to choose. It's very interesting because now in society, when you look at the social economic shifts that are taking place in the Western world specifically, you have a lot of you have the haves and the have-nots, but then that gap in between is getting much, much, much bigger every 2 to 5 years. As a middle-aged adult living in a Western world, I'm seeing it, I'm experiencing it, I'm observing it in my own culture. And when you're living under pressure, under limitation, interests are increasing. People are finding it harder to move around and to travel and to build business. All of these things, when you feel the boot on your neck, per se, metaphorically speaking, you can feel like your choices are limited due to external circumstances outside of your control. We are programmed to believe in the Matrix. If you become a Neo and you function outside the Matrix and you start tuning and tapping into the Matrix, that's where you can see where your power lies. Not making a choice is a choice. Creating opportunities for yourself can expand your choices. A few things popped up. So what dictates, what can motivate us to make a choice for ourselves? You have conditioning / behavior, how you grow up, right? That dictates how you choose. So if you grew up with a very limiting mindset that if I don't control it, then I have no choice. There's some people that grow up with a conditioning and develop behavior where their parents tell them or raise them in an environment where if it's not going your way, make it go your way. Or if it's not going your way, give up. It's not meant for you. Next, what can initiate choice is just plain fear. Fear, anxiety, right? Like I'm starting a business, so I have a lot of anxiety about it because I'm inexperienced. And I tried it before and it kind of like fell through because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have backbone. It wasn't clear on certain things. And that experience has put me in the position of like, let me try this again this time, right? But there's still fear and anxiety. So it can when you're trying to make decisions, you can choose, you subconsciously choose to not make the decisions that you need to get you to the next spot. Or you can. And then we have bravery and courage that can facilitate choice, right? And that can actually move and induce change. We believe we don't have a choice because of our early conditioning and because of set behaviors. When you behave a certain way, like in the doctrine of Bob Proctor, he would talk about his little stick man and how your thoughts, become your feelings and then actions, right? I call it the energy vortex. It begins in the ether, in the spirit world. You have ideas, a birth of a thought, and then that thought, you attract other thoughts to that thought, and that forms into the idea, and then you're like, wow, well, what if this could happen? And then you start to feel a certain way. You start to feel good about this idea, this thought form. And then your feelings are like, well, let's see if I can try this. I'm passionate enough about this, and then it manifests through the physical form, through the actions that you choose to take. All of this starts with in a spiritual world, okay, in your mind, in the area of mystery, the void. I like to call it the womb of all creation. We often feel afraid of making the right choices for ourselves because of unforeseen consequences, because we can't dictate the result. It's one thing when you're making a choice and you can dictate the result. You're like, okay, if I make this choice, then this is going to happen, right? It's going to go my way, or it's not going to go my way, but whatever. But sometimes the choices that we make, they really do have the probability of not going our way, and it keeps us from doing it. So, even though we live in a predestined, I believe, a predestined, fated arena that we call reality, we still have choices that we can make. I also don't want to sound like everything's fixed to the point where like it's set in stone, because we all know that over time stone can last a long like millennia, but stone can crumble, it can erode. So our potential results of something happening it's all pretty much determined by our present choices that we make in the present moment. I've said this before in many of my videos. Our present choices, our present behaviors dictate our future. It dictates a certain outcome. The frequency that we focus in on, the vibration that we focus in on the now, on the present moment, will dictate certain results that can affect us and affect other people. Whether we make a choice or not making a choice is a choice. I did an energy reading for someone this morning, and it came up so strongly, this person's in a space of huge needing to make a decision, and either decision that this person would make would take this person into and put this person in the same spot. And that can happen too. You go left, you're still going to end up in this you're still going to end up in this specific result. You go right, it doesn't matter. You're still going to end up in this result. Sometimes there are some things that cannot be avoided. There are some things that you must experience in this life, in your life. I just get really, I don't want to say annoyed when I hear people say, I just don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. And I know that deep down, subconsciously, they do know that they have a choice. They just don't like the answer. They don't like where it's going to take them. It's almost like when you're in a really bad marriage and you, or the marriage has just kind of met its ending. Like it's another thing, like relationships, everyone thinks that they're supposed to last forever and they don't. That is the most strangest thing I've ever, the most human and most strange belief system with marriage is, okay, we're going to, this is going to last. No, someone's going to die. Like, like that's the reality. You're just choosing to be with this person for the remainder of their whole life, but someone's going to die first. All right. But yeah, I find that, things aren't really meant to last forever. And when you're in that space of having to make a decision and you choose to, it's very interesting how human beings will do this. We'll undermine ourselves. We'll avoid making a choice that will, down the road, empower us and shift us, because it's taking us out of our comfort zone and placing us in a different space. I'm going through that right now. Many of you are going through that right now. And most of you will go through that very soon. It's a part of being human where you have to override this desire to stay in the role, in a destined role, right? It's a very human flaw. Like we'll just stay in that bad marriage. And I'm not talking about bad marriages just between a man and woman. I'm talking because people are married to their jobs. People are married to their kids. People are married to their country. People are married to political ideologies. People are married to their religion. Marriage is a sacred contract. It's a soul contract. Okay? People think it's just between a male-female thing, and it's not. It's a declaration to yourself, to the other, or to the entity, and to all of society that you declare connection, partnership, devotion, your loyalty, your emotional, psychological, spiritual investment into this entity or this person. I say entity because people marry corporations all the time. They just don't know it. I spent 25, 35 years for this company. You're married to that company. And then you're wondering why your marriage to your wife is suffering. Or to your husband. Or with your kids. We don't ask ourselves what we're truly married to. And so back to choice. Like making choices, it can be tricky. Because it all leads back to the narratives that we are conditioned to believe, or the narratives that we create in our mind that limit us from making the best choices for us. And it also really brings you into the present moment. It forces you to bring yourself to the present moment when making choices, because you have to let go of the desired result. You have to let go of what you think it's going to be, whether that it's going to end badly or great. You have to let all of that go and just do it. As I'm saying this to you, I'm saying this to myself, really and truly, because I got big things I desire to manifest in my life, that I feel called to do. And it's like, it's overwhelming. Making choices you may feel it's overwhelming. It just is. Like I'm not going to get into every little thing that I'm feel called to do, but it's just like some of it is going to be, the time frame. See, and this is the narrative I build in my head. Okay, this is going to take me 2 years to do this. This is going to take me 5 years to do that. This is going to take me 15 years to do that. This is going to take me 2 months, 6 months. Okay, this is going to take me a couple of weeks to do this. It's like we build narratives and storylines around choices when Source, Spirit, God is asking us, hey, just make the damn choice, right? You know what to do. You know what to do. I put it in your heart, so move. And we're like, no, God, no. Because God is going to end this way. And then God's like, no, you're not supposed to know the ending of the story yet. Just please make the move. And you're like, no, God, because this is going to go this way and that way and then I'll get too much money. And God's like, oh my God. God's like, oh my God. That's funny. But just to end the video, I know I labeled this as why we underestimate, and I listed, because of behavior, fear, and a few other things. But it is a time to be brave. You do have to make, decisions on courage and blind faith. Ask me how many times I've done that on blind faith. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And guess what? It actually panned out, okay. It panned out okay. Did everything go in how I wanted it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But did it unfold like it should have? It absolutely did. And I have no regrets. None. And I'm speaking on the moments where I made big choices and that I had no idea where it was going to take me. And I ended up okay. And a much more well-rounded human being because of those choices I made. I love tea. Okay. I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.